I work alone. I'm CM Coleman. Welcome to my life on YouTube. There are some things which get me really going, and lately I've been looking on YouTube for advice on how to record better videos. And a lot of it involves asking my crew about things that I'm doing. Really? Asking my crew? Let's face it, if you have seen my videos on my kitchen studio setup, and if you haven't, check out that little button there. It'll take you to the day where I set up my kitchen studio, and you will see that I work alone. I don't have a crew to ask about these things. And so when I see advice like that, it's like, well, no, I can't really do that. The next suggestion is always, well, use your camera monitor to then you make sure that everything in the frame looks great. Okay, but usually I'm standing far away, and that's sort of a problem. Now, in my kitchen studio, I did have a monitor set up. And I will do some pre-recording, so that way I can make sure that the audio is good and that sort of thing. But when you work alone, it gets crazy. It gets insane. That's why I actually work in kitchen studio with 2 cameras, because I can do my close-ups with the second camera, which is already set in a close-up mode, and also I can get some really cool shots, like the top-down shots that I use. I can get those from the camera which is hanging from the ceiling. It's really cool and really handy. But that's what I do with 2 cameras. If you only have 1 camera, sometimes you're going to have to do things twice. Now, if you're a how-to, that can be really difficult. Because I've found I do not really like watching shows which is just a set of hands doing stuff. I also want to see the person doing stuff. So I like the cut back and forth, which means, yep, you could end up doing things twice. And who really wants to do that? So 2 cameras was the way that I came up with to do this. You might have another suggestion. One of them is to actually do you giving all the instructions in a close-up. A shot from about here up where they don't see what your hands are doing. That way you can cut back and forth from it as you need to go. If you use that suggestion, here's my thought for you. Go ahead and make it in your close-ups, make whatever that you're doing in your close-ups, and then go back and record your instructions on how to do things. Because what will happen in those sort of cases is any mistakes that you made, anything that you did, you can then fix. Now, one of the things which I'm really starting to do, depending on how you look at this, is trying to get pictures that I can put out on social media of me doing things. Now, sometimes that would mean interrupting or stopping what I'm doing, but it doesn't always have to. You can use freeze frames from your shots and then actually send those out to your social media as you're editing. That is really something to think about. Use those freeze frames, use those close-ups to send out to social media. Then you have something which is different, something which is special, or you can get those extra shots. That's where I'm getting a lot of, we'll just have people take pictures of you as you're doing stuff. No, they're not there. I can't ask anybody if my shirt is straight or not. Let me look in the monitor. Yep, I have problems with that. So I have to rely on what I can see. And sometimes what you can see isn't necessarily what other people are seeing. So how do you handle that? Make a checklist. Have a checklist of everything which you need to have in the shot, everything which you need to check, and go over that checklist each time. You're saying, well, why don't you come up with a checklist? Well, if you really want me to come up with a checklist, let me know in the comments, and I will come up with a checklist of things which you need to do. One of the biggest ones, no matter what, is check your audio. I've had problems recently with my audio simply because I haven't had time to check it. The other thing is I like to record many episodes at a time simply because, well, it takes less hassle to get it set up one time, and then I have it all set up, everything's ready to go, and that's another thing which you can do when you're working by yourself. If you can set it up one less time, hey, you're more likely to do more videos. Batch recording is one of the things that you can do to help you with, working alone. But also check everything, every little shot, every little detail. Look behind you, look in front of you, make sure that you are all put together, make sure everything is all put together. You might even have just a shot list of things that you need. I don't know. I'm not sure what you are making. For me, it's really easy because I make sure that I have all of my shots, all of everything that I need to have right there. I go over the recipe many times before I make it and make sure everything's measured out, ready to go, and we're all set. And with the two cameras, I can then put them together in editing, which, yes, we will talk about editing sooner or later. But it's one of those things which I have to do these things to do it by myself. And it's okay. If you have somebody who you think you can force into helping you, that's not a good idea. Maybe they want to help you if you ask, but if they don't, you're going to have to figure out a way to work around it. A lot of you are saying, but I won't get the shot that I want. If you watch anything about making TV or making some sort of low-budget film, you will hear time and time again how they had to change their idea because they couldn't afford or didn't have the ability to get the shot that they want. You're going to have to adapt. That's the big thing about YouTube. You adapt to your surroundings and adapt to your situation, and you try to figure out how to do it. If you can't do it, you can't do it. But that's sort of silly to just do the whole, well, if I can't do it, I'm just not going to do anything. Well, no. If you can't do it exactly the way you want to, figure out another way. A lot of times you have people talking about they want full body shots and they have no room to do that. You might have to go into a corner. You might have to go into a hallway. It might have to be really quick. You will need a sturdy, and I mean a sturdy tripod if you need to do things where you are far away from the tripod. Because if you're putting up your expensive camera or any camera up on a tripod, make sure that puppy is secure and mounted. My tripod is very sturdy, very secure, and I can walk away from it and feel okay, but then I don't really go out that far. If you are trying to record in the wind, guess what? You're gonna have problems. So don't think that you're going to be able to do that. Think about what you can do inside. Think about what you can do in editing, and go with that. Just adapt to it. Your surroundings will change what you're going to do. Don't come up with an idea and just I have to do it this way or else I'm not going to do it. No. Adapt. It's okay. So that is my big thing. If you work alone, be ready to adapt. Be ready to change things on the fly so that you can get your video out. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know down in the comment part. Don't forget to subscribe. Every Saturday is for you, the YouTuber, and it's my life on YouTube, and it's what I do. And I'm going to be talking about editing sometime soon. Don't know how soon. But it's something that you want. They're just little tips, pieces of advice, and things that I do to make my life on YouTube a little easier. And the working alone part is a big thing. Like I said, I really wanted to get shots where I zoom in on the food as I'm making it. Work alone, don't have a remote for my camera, so that's not going to happen. I have to cut back and forth. Is that okay? I'm okay with it. Are you okay with it? Let me know. Don't forget to check out my website, which you'll see other things on my blog and that sort of stuff. And that's going to appear somewhere probably over there. And just be natural. Be yourself. Have some fun with it. And yeah, change happens. Stuff happens. Go with it, roll with it, and you will have a great time. And remember, running your house doesn't have to be a full-time job. Turn it into a hobby and have some fun.